What is up, Broncos country? I am your host, Dak. Thank you for joining me on the Buckham Pod. We got a special episode today. We're officially 2 days away from when the Denver Broncos make their selection, and 1 day from when the actual NFL draft kicks off. Man, I'm excited. The anticipation has been killing me. I know my boy Kinley has been tired of seeing all the tireless and endless mock drafts. He's already voiced his opinion to me. I've stopped the mock drafts, but it's almost here. So, are you guys excited? I am. Let's get into it. This handsome fella next to me is Jacob Rodriguez, the inside linebacker at Texas Tech. And he's a prospect who I have been pounding the table for across social media, on Twitter, and one reason being is the inside linebacker position continues to be a glaring hole on this roster. In my opinion, it's the biggest need on paper, and let me tell you why. Okay, so we just had Sean Payton talk about Jonah Alice switching to the inside linebacker position to potentially take snaps. They talked about his instincts. They talked about his athleticism to have that ability to maybe make the transition, right? Okay. The next guy, Drew Sanders. He was our inside linebacker. He's been derailed by injuries all throughout his NFL career. He's going to be going back out to outside linebacker. Okay. So those guys, I mean, Jonah Ellis might be depth. Drew Sanders takes away from that room. We cut Dre Greenlaw this offseason, okay? So now that leaves us with Singleton and Justin Sternad as our two linebackers starting. And now we have guys like Jordan Turner, Karene Reed, and who's the other gentleman? Lavelle Bailey. Those are three names that come to mind that were on our practice squad. Okay, so man, that sounds tough. Sounds to me like Jacob Rodriguez needs to be the selection for the Denver Broncos, and they may need to trade up to get him. Okay, so tomorrow is gonna be a good tell as to how good of a chance the Denver Broncos have in drafting Jacob Rodriguez, in my opinion, because teams that come to mind where I've seen him mocked to in the first round for Jacob Rodriguez is the Bills at number 26, and I've seen the Cowboys being a team who has selected him at number 20. I know they've brought him in for a meeting, I think on one of their top 30 meetings or whatever the case may be. So that's very interesting. One thing I'm going to point out too, though, is Dane Brugler, who is the NFL draft analyst for The Athletic. I mean, he puts out the beast. It's the beast, for those of you who don't know, is the NFL draft guide. It's like the Bible for the NFL draft for a list of prospects. I think it's up to like 300 names or what have you. He goes through it very detailed, oriented. I love it. He does phenomenal work. Dane Brugler is one of the best in the business when it comes to the draft. I respect what he says, man. I really enjoy his content. He does a phenomenal job. So, Dane Brugler, though, bringing him up, has him as his number two inside linebacker, just ahead of CJ Allen, where he had CJ Allen, I think, mocked to Denver at number 62. So that is very interesting. So, how big of a gap is Jacob Rodriguez versus CJ Allen, right? Well, let me tell you. Jacob Rodriguez was mocked at number 51 to the Carolina Panthers in Dane Brugler's latest mock. So that is very interesting. It's very hard to say because no one truly knows where Rodriguez is going to end up, right? It's a pretty good range of where he could go. Um, I know Mel Kiper Jr., who was on Orange and Blue today, Cecil Lammy's and Andrew Mason's podcast, for those of you who are familiar with those guys, very well respected media members of Broncos media, had Mel Kiper, and he talked about the potential of Jacob Rodriguez potentially being there in the third. We don't know, so it's very hard to tell. But dang, I'm like, if Denver wants to make an impact, we had Akib Talib not too long ago drop another trade bomb rumor, and though he was right about the Jalen Waddle one, the name that the move that comes to mind aside from maybe trading for a veteran is, hey, does Talib know something about the Broncos potentially trading up for maybe a couple prospects, maybe like Jadarian Price or Jacob Rodriguez, right? Those are guys that I think about in the second round that we've been linked to. I know Jacob Rodriguez at the combine mentioned the Broncos talking to him. It sounded like the Broncos were pretty excited about the idea of Jacob Rodriguez, right? Fulfilling that inside linebacker position of the future, being that long term piece. So very enticing. So I think the biggest question, though, and I know it feels to me at times the inside linebacker position is devalued, right? So I guess the question is, how much do the NFL teams value the inside linebacker position, and where do they see Rodriguez, right? How much can he have an impact on their roster? I mean, he's going to be the long-term replacement for Alex Singleton, right? Because Alex Singleton, yes, he signed a 2-year extension, like 2 years, 15.5 million or something like that. I think like 10 guaranteed, something like that. Anyways, most of the guaranteed money's in that first year, so essentially it feels like a 1-year deal if we're looking at the contract. You have Justin Sternad, who's going to be in Denver for the foreseeable future. 3-year extension, 3 years, 18 million. He's an ascending player. You bring along Jacob Rodriguez to fill that void in the rotation left by Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw was already in rotation with these inside linebackers. So it's very interesting to see how the Broncos fill that void. I'm not saying that the inside linebacker that we draft needs to totally replace Dre Greenlaw. You're not doing that because he was a veteran, right? But the player that we draft, especially in the second round, needs to have some type of impact, in my opinion. Why not look at the inside linebacker position and draft somebody of Jacob Rodriguez caliber and be like, hey, he'll get a good amount of snaps, I think, behind Singleton and Stranad. Injuries are a part of the game, of course. I think the Broncos aren't really sold on Stranad and Alex Singleton, in my opinion, too, if they're trying to have Jonah Alice, tap into the inside linebacker room now and get some snaps there. So right now, according to PFF, Jacob Rodriguez is ranked number 45 on their big board. Okay, so I like that. But let's get more into in depth about Jacob Rodriguez. In 2022, his first season at Texas Tech, he transferred from Virginia. But I want to say this, he was a former quarterback. Okay, before he transitioned over to the inside linebacker position, he was a quarterback. So man, this guy has to have the IQ. He has to have some type of knowledge as to whether or not where to line up or what have you. So check out the accolades on this guy. He finished top 5 as a Heisman finalist. I'm like, wow, for an inside linebacker in college, you know that it usually goes and it favors quarterbacks, right? Let's be real here. Same thing with the MVP award in the NFL. That's why they have the Defensive Player of the Year award. He won the Butkus Award, which is the nation's top linebacker. He won the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, football's best defensive player. Looks like he got the Lombardi Award, first in Texas Tech history, honoring the top lineman or linebacker. He also won the Pony Express Award with edge defender David Bailey as the nation's top teammate duo. Man, I'm enticed by that. I love the accolades. Let me go through some stats with you, okay? So 2021, he was with Virginia. Didn't log anything, of course. 12 games played. 2022, 12 games played, 29 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, okay? 2023, it looks like he only played 5 games, 32 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. This is where it starts, he starts getting his wheels under him, it feels like. 2024, 13 games played, 126 tackles, 10 and a half 10 and a half tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 5 passes defended, and pass deflected, 1 interception. And then 2025, he played 14 games, one being in that big matchup against the Oregon Ducks. He had 128 tackles throughout for the whole season, 11 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 7 forced fumbles, 6 passes deflected, 4 interceptions. He's a turnover machine when you look at those stats specifically, man. He's very enticing. One thing that I will point out, which is a weakness of his, is his adequate size and strength by NFL standards, is what Dane Brugler has listed for him. Okay, let's go tap into his RAS score. Okay, 9.61 RAS score. I think I read anything over 9.5 is pretty legitimate for an athlete. You look at the size, the weight. Yeah, that's concerning, especially when it comes to stacking at the inside linebacker position, getting off those O linemen, and being effective in run defense. But one thing that I would say though is the NFL is moving towards being more of a passing league, right? So I feel like with Jacob Rodriguez, he could be your biggest asset on the defense in terms of coverage, right? Coverage ability. Um, I mean, he ran the 40-yard dash he ran a 4.57 on his 40-yard dash. Phenomenal. His arm length, like I talked about, 30.88, slightly below ideal. Um, Going back to his speed though, the 20-yard split was 8.27. His 10-yard split 8.63. These show whether or not he has that ability to have that sideline to sideline range. Can he cover or not? That goes to show, can he cover running backs, tight ends? Looks like it to me. Um, I love the explosive trigger downhill that he shows. Um, Explosion with the vertical, 38 and a half I like it. Broad jump, 10 feet 1 inches. I like it. So just some of the numbers that I look at, on the RAS score. Um, I think his NFL role comparison right now is he's going to be that coverage friendly defender for us. He can really benefit as maybe a wheel linebacker day one. It allows him to play in space instead of stacking the guards that I mentioned. But I think his potential in in the Broncos defense, in the middle of this defense, is being a 3 down player because of his agility. You can always hit the weight room. You could always also add some size, right, too, in terms of his weight. But do you really want to harm his speed, right? Sometimes you can be a little slower when it comes to stacking on some weight. You don't want to really impact his speed too much. So, man, I'm pretty excited about the thought of Jacob Rodriguez. So that's his RAS score. I like it. I hope you guys let me know what you think. I know the biggest question going into the draft, and going into the combine weekend was as to whether or not this guy's an athlete. And boy, did he show out at the combine. And then after that, it just felt like he just rose up the draft boards. His stock rose tremendously after the combine. So this is why I'm pounding the table for Jacob Rodriguez. The Denver Broncos will probably have to trade up for him. How much? I don't know. We're going to find out. If they have a real opportunity after the first round, we'll kind of see, right? But I would be excited. I've been pounding the table for Rodriguez. I know before we made the trade for Jalen Waddle, I was high on Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, because tight end was a need for us. It still is, in my opinion. But now that we don't have that first round pick and the way Kenyon Sadiq tested, it's like, man, you could kiss that goodbye. So I had to go down another direction, another pathway, and look at other prospects. And man, looking at needs on our team, why not go get Jacob Rodriguez? So the pick is in. The Denver Broncos will select. Watch, check this out. Check this out, you guys. The pick is in. The Broncos will select Jacob Rodriguez. Depending on what pick, I don't know, right? I think we'll trade up. Man, can we get him like at 51? Can we make a trade? Can we get him in that late 40s? That would be very exciting to do. I feel like this would be my prediction that the Broncos somehow find a way to draft Jacob Rodriguez. Very enticing prospect. Man, I've said it many times. If the Broncos do draft Jacob Rodriguez, I will literally cut this part and leave the stash for the season. I will be buying me a Jacob Rodriguez um jersey. I'm very excited for draft day. How confident are you guys in thinking that Jacob Rodriguez is available potentially in round two to where the Broncos do have that ability to trade up? Please let me know. I'm very intrigued on your guys' thoughts. Let us know. Let us know your guys' prospect who the Broncos should draft. But for me, Dak here, Jacob Rodriguez is my man. He's my man. I I said this earlier on Twitter. The Broncos have to do whatever it takes, even if it means selling the farm for Jacob Rodriguez. You do that. I don't care if we have one selection. I know I've been on one for sure today. I'm just excited. It's just pure excitement. Optimistic about getting this particular player in a Broncos uniform. You saw that I put him in number 57, Dre Greenlaw's old number. I like it. I like it a lot. So I appreciate you guys watching us. Tomorrow I think I'll be live for the draft, watching the draft, giving my reactions through all picks 1 through 32. Hopefully you guys could join us. I would gladly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this episode. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We gladly appreciate it. And remember, if it ain't about the Broncos, buck 'em. Mile high salute to you. Until next time, tomorrow is draft day. Let's go! Go Broncos. Shout out to Broncos country. No matter who the selection is on Friday, we're definitely going to support the player. We'll be happy. I don't know if we'll be happy, but I mean, he's going to be in a Broncos uniform, right? So we got to show him some love. So welcome him with open arms and let's get it. Let's go. Have a good one, y'all.